We're back with Paul O'Connell, JP McManus and AP McCoy in studio, and we're launching the Team Limerick Clean-Up. I think the official start time is 10 o'clock and it runs until 1 right across the city and county this Good Friday. And far be it from me now to suggest that there would be any inter-parish rivalry, but you know, it often works on the hurling field, so maybe it'll work here to try and make sure that you do at least as well as your neighbours. And then when we put all the patchwork and the jigsaw together by 1 o'clock, we'll have the cleanest county in Ireland. Turlock called to say great to have the three lads in studio this morning backing this all the way. Pat O'Neill is originally from Adair but now living in Birmingham. So proud of the TLC crew and everything they've done for Limerick. He's full of joy about how we're being perceived over there, especially after the Limerick City Rhythm Band won the St. Patrick's Parade recently in Birmingham. They did, and then they came home and won it here in Limerick too. And thanks very much for listening to us. We know we've lots of people listening around the world on the app and at live95fm.ie. Kilteely volunteers heading out shortly. Great cause. We're very proud of Limerick City and County. And we're ready to rock and roll out here, says somebody else. And hi Joe, saw a number of people litter picking on the way to work already. I think we should give all these people a lift as they need it. It's a bit damp out there, so can we start a campaign to get people to beep their car horns and call it beep to sweep for TLC. Well done to JP and to Paul and AP, says Brendan. And a farmer obviously has to look after his responsibilities. He's saying, I'm doing my bit. I'm cleaning up around the farm today. I don't know if that technically counts, but fair enough. And Joan in Ardagh in County Limerick says, the very best of luck to the lads on their campaign. Hope the clean-up continues afterwards. And actually, that's a good point, isn't it, JP? Because this is about legacy as much as anything else. It's not just about today.
Absolutely. And if you've 10,000 people or whatever, just keeping an eye on people that they don't litter, that in itself will be it'll be a winner.
Yeah. Paul, since the last time you were in, I struggle to get up in the morning, but you've been winning Six Nations and back-to-backs and captain and Six Nations player of the tournament as well. And sure, the year is only 3 months old and you have Munster now and a World Cup to come.
Yeah, we'd love to have a game tomorrow. That was part of the plan actually for arranging it today, so I wouldn't had to pick any litter today if I had a game tomorrow. But I'm going to be out. I'm going to be out at it. There's for one thing sending the young fellow out. I was going to get Paddy to do all my work for me, but but I'm going to be out. Yeah, we'll be out today. But so it's a shame we don't have a game this weekend, but it gives us a chance to concentrate on the Guinness Pro 12. We put down a great week's training. I'm into training this afternoon. And Anthony Foley has actually left a few of the lads, given them an hour or two off to come and do a few photos around the city today with TLC as well. But the rest of the boys are in training, and we're looking forward to the finish of the season. And the Guinness Pro 12 lads got a good result, a good bonus point win against Connacht the other day, and during the Six Nations, apart from one game against the Ospreys where we were poor, the rest of it we accumulated a lot of points and did really well. So we're in a good position heading into that, and hopefully we can challenge for a trophy at the end of the year.
Yeah, which would be fantastic. And I mean, the first game I suppose is the home semi-final if possible, isn't it? And then
that would be be another great thing for Limerick if we could bring a big home semi-final to Thomond Park in May. But we got to make the top four first as well. We haven't the toughest run in, but we have still quite a tough run in. We've Edinburgh away this weekend. Next weekend we've been playing well. We've Ulster away as well, Treviso and Dragons. So we have a tough enough run in, and we need to accumulate as many points as we can.
And just to ensure that I don't get killed at home, will you say something nice about Leinster tomorrow in the Champions Cup?
Yeah, I think they're going to win. They've home advantage. They've incredible experience in Europe, which Bath don't really have. I think they kind of found their mojo a little bit last week against Glasgow, and they went 27-7 down or whatever it was. They came back to lead 34-27 and were probably disappointed not to win it in the end. But I think they played some great rugby and really just took the game by the scruff of the neck, which is what they're going to have to do this weekend. You guys coming back into their team as well. all the guys have played all the way through, but Sean O'Brien didn't play in their knockout stages, and he's back in now, and he's in incredible form, as you saw towards the end of the championship, and I think he's going to be a big asset for them.
Yeah. Just to mention Murrayfield and collecting the trophy, I've spoken to a few people who were there who said it was like the biggest Paddy's Day party in history.
Yeah, well, you see, what happened was we had our game, so the crowd would have showed up to the Murrayfield. There was brilliant entertainment at Murrayfield, so the crowd would have showed up to Murrayfield to watch the Wales and Italy game, probably had a few pints at that, went to our game, probably didn't have as many pints at that, but had a few at it, and then stayed on to watch England and France. So by the time we came out to pick up the trophy, they were in, really festive mood. It was about between 5 and 10,000 of them there. They were playing great music, and it was just a crazy 20 minutes, half an hour with the crowd, whereby everyone was dancing, everyone was singing, and after watching the France game, the way the France game was so up and down, and at times I'd say we thought we had it lost. So, yeah, it was an incredible day.
Yeah, Edinburgh's a great town as well, so they enjoyed it before, during, and afterwards. Tony, you were saying in the leader that if we think you're competitive and we think Paul is competitive, is nothing to JP's competitiveness.
Oh yeah, and I'm not making that up. He is the most competitive of all of us. You can find out with pretty much anything he does, but you'd notice it on a golf course or wherever it may be. He is the most competitive, and obviously there's a very generous and a very good willing side to him, but when it comes to competing against him, he wants to beat you. You believe you me, he wants to beat you, and he wants to beat everyone else as well. So yeah, I found that out. I found that out the tough way, I think, a few times in the golf course and places like that, when yeah, you see that side of him very much. So he is the most competitive man.
I'd say you wouldn't recognise yourself in that at all, would you, JP?
Not at all.
No, in that description. But you were also you were also saying that in terms of joy, and you've brought him a lot of joy, it wouldn't match the Limerick hurlers winning in All Ireland.
No, it wouldn't. I'm obviously from Antrim, but I know that 1973 was the last time Limerick won the All Ireland. So I was lucky enough to meet a lot of the lads in JP's. I think it was about September time we met them. It was just it wasn't long after the All Ireland semi final, and tried to encourage them to hopefully do a little bit better for them from this year. Hopefully they'll get a little bit further. I think that would probably make him happier than pretty much anything. But yeah, he Limerick, he's a very proud Limerick man, that's for sure.
Yeah, and they were close last year. They did really well in the semi against Kilkenny, so a step further for the hurlers would be great, wouldn't it?
Be absolutely wonderful, but it's like Pat Hartigan keeps saying to me, he says, I'm tired of people asking me, did I play with Grimes or Mackey?
That's true, yeah. 73 is a long time ago. Listen, we'll just embarrass Paul there. Pay a compliment to him, JP, will you, and his contribution to Limerick. Oh, he loves that now. Watch this. He's looking over the ceiling. What would you say about him?
Sure. Also proud of Paul when we see him on the rugby field, on or off it, and I can't tell you how much satisfaction everybody got on seeing him in Murrayfield and on many other occasions. We all got a great lift a couple of weeks ago, and apart from that, it's how he behaves himself, and he's an inspiration to all young lads and all young people, and wherever you're coming from, everybody looks up to Paul O'Connell. And he reminded me years ago when I was when he was in Ballyclough at the Limerick Golf Club, that he caddied for me, and I couldn't remember it at the time, but I seemed to think of this young lad with plenty freckles and very polite and kind, and starting to think back on it, some very fond memories of Paul, and he's got us all involved in the game of rugby. Like, I wouldn't know much about the technical side of rugby, I have to tell you, but Noreen, she follows it very closely, and we all just love Paul and all the lads, but particularly Paul. and he's been an inspiration to everybody, and I'm sure it'll continue for a long time.
Now, that of course gives you an excuse now to pay a tribute to JP Paul.
Stop.
Yeah.
Which I knew we wouldn't want.
When I caddied for him, he tipped me in sterling, and I thought he was ripping me off. I thought he was giving me Monopoly money or something. But,
He wouldn't be ripping you off at the moment if you gave you sterling.
yeah, but no, look, it's incredible for Limerick. Things like today, you know, they don't happen without real good organisation and proper marketing and you know, JP's ability to harvest, you know, volunteerism as well, and you know, the amount of work. Obviously, this is, you know, this will be out there for everyone to see, but the amount of work the Benevolent Fund does for charities throughout the city that we don't get to see every day is incredible, and we're very lucky that I think that JP looks out for Limerick the way it does, and you know, people with exciting ideas, people with projects, people that are doing charity work, you know, they all get a lease of life about their work with what JP provides, and I think we're very lucky that way. We're very, very lucky.
Okay, well, we can't keep the monks waiting. Certainly not on Good Friday. Not a good idea for any of us. I've been fortunate enough to meet Paul on a few occasions, and JP as well, of course, both Freeman of Limerick. It's my first time meeting you, Tony. And, you know, we don't throw the word legend around in Limerick now too lightly, but you certainly deserve it. And you never know, we might make you a Freeman of Limerick. If we did actually, then it might be easier for you to get the job at the council that you're looking for as well.
Well, there's a plus point, isn't there?
There's a plus point.
And a good word for me.
Absolutely, and we hope you have a very successful weekend. You're last on the Irish racetrack, and sure, you never know if you win the Aintree Grand National, that'll be that too.
Thank you.
All right, it's a pleasure to meet you, Tony. Thank you, JP. Thank you, Paul. And remember, what it's really about, guys, is getting out there. Over 10,000 volunteers for the Team Limerick Clean-Up. Let's make sure that by 1 o'clock, Limerick really is the cleanest county in Ireland.